So, to ang i-discuss ani na video is all about hyperbola. So, say for example, mo ni mong hyperbola. So, ang mga parts na po ninyo ang dapat i-remember is, of course, number 1, natay vertex. Okay? Vertex. Ha? Then, inside ana, natay mga focus. Ha? Then, naapod tayo, of course, directrix. Kana silang duha. Directrix. And, naapat tayo, sa pa ba? Kani. Okay, kana ha? Kani ha? Kani siya. Naa kay transverse axis. Or that's what we call the principal axis. Then of course, kani siya. Kana. That is what we call the conjugate axis. Okay? So, say for example, class, ipagraph na to. Ani na equation, say ang given is x minus 2 squared all over 4 minus y plus 2 squared over 9 is equal to 1. Okay, say for example, i-graph na siya. So, pag i-graph na to na siya, imuhang center is at 2, negative 2. Okay? And di ba sa ellipse nato napuntay a squared and b squared where a is greater than b. Pero pag abot diri sa hyperbola, napo kay a squared and b squared. Pero si a squared nimo is katong denominator sa positive term. So, ang positive diri kani man. So, kani mo ang a squared. Okay? So, a squared ni siya. So, taking the square root of that, you have a is equal to 2. Tama? So, if a squared di siya, therefore, kani mo ang b squared, taking the square root of that, you have b is equal to 3. Okay, so pag i-graph na na siya, inaniihang naong. Sige. Kuha na tong center, so 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 na tong center. Okay? Then, kanang a ug b, sige, tanaw na to. Kaning a is under x. Tama, again, a nimo is under x. So, meaning to say, center nino, so 1, 2, kana. 1, 2, kani dire. Okay? Then b nimo is under y. B is under y, so center ni. So 1, 2, 3. Okay? Then 1, 2, 3. Again ha, from center, 1, 2, 3. Wala siya. So mag-draw ko og ilahi na ko color. Wait. Draw ta og imaginary box. Ana. Okay, nag-draw tag imaginary box. Okay, based aning a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3. Again ha, a is under x, so x no. So from the center 1, 2. From the center 1, 2. b equal to 3 is under y, so from the center, so 1, 2, 3. From the center 1, 2, 3. Then draw kag imaginary box. Then from there, from this point, pana na imuhang parabola. From here, pana ang imuhang parabola. Okay? So, again, ang imuhang kuan, tawagan di ba sa ellipse natay ABCDE, ABCDE of an ellipse. So, same gapon sa parabola, nagapon kay ABCDE. So, kani imuhang A, okay? Kani imuhang A is from the center, padulong daraa. That's your A. Okay? Kana imuhang B is kani ug kana mo na imuhang B. Okay, gets lang to? From here padulong diri, that's your A. From here padulong diri, that's your B. So kanang C, di ba naman tay di ba sa ellipse kay ang C is from center to focus. So same gihapon diri So say for example, imuhang focus is kani focus ha, kani focus. So imuhang C is from center padulong sa focus. Mo na imuhang C. From center, padulong sa focus, mo na imuhang C. Okay, so mo nang A, B, C for your hyperbola. Kanang directrix, ay kanang letter D, wait lang, lahi ta na ano. So sa letter D ni mo, wait lang ha, draw ta usab. So, di ba ang nakay hyperbola, tapos di ba nakay directrix kani. So katong letter D na to is from, of course, from kani, wait lang ha. So, di ba center na ha? Assuming kani ang center, okay? So, from here, padulong diri, that's letter D. From here, padulong diri, that's letter D. Assuming kani imong center, okay? What else? Okay, sige. So, di ba anak ko natay focus? Tapos napotay focus. So, say for example, class, from this point, padulong diri, any point sa imong hyperbola, let's say that's D1. From here, padulong dito, that's D2. Okay? And by the property sa hyperbola, D2 minus D1 is always equal to a constant 2A. Okay, di ba? Sa ellipse, sa tong previous topic, previous video, ang ellipse kay ang D1 plus D2 is equal to 2A. Pero in the case of hyperbola, D2 minus D1 is equal to 2A. Again ha, from the center, from the focus, anywhere, okay, anywhere, so let's say D1, then from here, padulong na po dito, D2, it still follow the same property, D2 minus D1 is equal to 2A. Okay? Then, so wait lang ha. A, B, C, D, E. Kabulong na ta kay A, kabulong na ta kay B, kabulong na ta C. Ay, by the way, di ay tama. May na lang. Ang C ha, di ba sa ellipse na to, si A, B, C is na-siya relationship. Pagabot diri si A, B, C, i-relate nimo sila in sa isa ka equation. Ang formula is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared ha. O, na siya iyong timanan. Okay? Then, kaning si D, kabalo naman ta. Kaning si E, still, i-add ka na siya. Kaya diba, E is the eccentricity. And pag hyperbola ka, your eccentricity is greater than 1. So, to solve for that value, i-add ka lang ihapon iyong gamiton na formula. Ha? Okay. So, atong i-discuss na pagkaroon kay katong asymptotes. Okay, so kung kani imuhang hyperbola, kana siya, imong asymptotes kay kaning color blue. Okay? So, mao ni siya, kanang pina-X. Mao na imong asymptotes. So, kasagaran ang pangutan-on manggod ana ni sa problem kay find the equation of the asymptotes of hyperbola. So, to get the equation of the asymptotes, kung nabantayan ninyo, ang asymptotes nato kani o kana, straight line lang na sila. So, it follows this equation katong y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay? Diba kung magbuhat ka o equation of straight line, pwede ni siya gamiton nato. Tama? So, take note lang class na kaning y1 o x1 ito, kaning x1 and y1 nato, okay? That is the katong h ug k nato. Katong center sa tuang hyperbola. Okay? Again, hana ako'y separate video explaining in-depth about aning asymptotes, pero karon lang jud kay murag overview lang jud siya. Okay? Basta ang x1 o y1 nato, katong h and k nato, katong center sa tong hyperbola. And then kanitong m, kaning m nato, pwede siya plus minus b over a or plus minus a over b. So kaning plus minus, this indicates kani siya, that's plus. Then kaning minus, kani siya na line. Okay, plus minus na slope. So when ka magamit og BA or AB, so if imuhang hyperbola is inani, then ang imuhang gamiton na slope is plus minus b over a. Tapos if painani imong hyperbola, imuhang gamiton na slope is m is equal to plus minus a over b. Okay? So, mo na sa inyong timanan. Okay, so next is, okay na ta sa asymptotes. So, karon is katong standard equations na punta. Standard equations. So, again ha, naatay hyperbola na painani. Napatay hyperbola na paana siya naong. So, if painani ihang naong, pag inana ihang naong, so you have x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1 pag inani. Pero pag inani ihang naong, mga standard equation is y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared is equal to 1. So, unsa lay nakalahi class? Kung bantayan ninyo, wait lang ha. Always remember the I class. Note, always remember that A is positive. Okay? So, ang imuhang A, that is the denominator of the positive term. So, in this case, imuhang A is under X. So, if under X siya, painani ihang naong pahigda. Okay? And in this case, imuhang A is under, of course, under sa positive na term. A nimo is under Y. Okay? So, if sa Y siya, then patindog ang imuhang hyperbola. Okay? So, inato lang siya para ma-remember na to. Ang mga standard equations. Okay? And then, by the way, di ay ha, dapat positive, negative, good sila. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Dili pwede positive sila both. Dili pwede positive ni, positive pa ni, positive ni, positive pa ni. Dili pwede ana. Okay? Kaya to siya, pang ellipse to siya na standard equations. Now, ang calculator techniques na to, okay, so for the calculator techniques, if nakita na ninyo ang calculator techniques for ellipse, same lang siya. Okay, same lang yapon siya, where to get h and k, you use this formula, negative b over 2a. Kaya same with ellipse. Basta same lang sa ellipse. Kung tanawi tong video sa ellipse para makita ninyo class. So anyway, hk, negative b over 2a. To get a and b, okay, a and b, same lang gihapon class ha, na ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f divided by a or c. Same lang gihapon ha, i-type ninyo ni siya, where x and y nimo, sa x and y is coordinate sa imuhang center. So, kani siya, kaning HK nimo. Then, type nimo to, divide nimo kay A, and then divide na po nimo kay C na kay duha ka value. Okay, na kay duha ka value makuha. And ang negative value na imong makuha, mao to siya si A squared. Ang positive value na imuhang makuha, mao to siya si B squared. Okay, so i-remember to siya class. So, karon try tag solve og sample problem. Okay? Sige, so i-try na to nig-solve kaning isa ka sample problem. So given ka ani na equation, so pangitaon nimong center sa may major and sa may minor axis, eccentricity, equation of transverse and conjugate axis, vertices and focal points. Okay, so ang center, pwede rin na to siya i-calculator technique. So to get to solution. So letter A, ang center, di ba, H and K, that's negative b over 2a. So, kuhaan na to na siya ha. So, gamit lang tag calculator technique. So, negative b over 2a. So, calc. So, ang b na to get the x coordinate of the center. So, b na to is the coefficient of x. That's 36. A na to is the coefficient of x squared. So, that's 16. Negative 9 So, 2. 2 ni siya. So, to get the y coordinate, so, again, calc, b na to is coefficient of y, 96. And then, a is the coefficient of y squared, that's 16. 16. So, negative 3. Okay, so, muna to imuhang center. Now, to get the semi-major and semi-minor axis, pwede gapon siya to siya i-calculator technique. So, itong buhaton sa i-type lang sa niha. Kani siya. So, after na-type niyo siya, kato na equation, kani siya, divide na to siya sa A, and then i-divide na to siya sa C. So, dividing it by A, 16, calc mo, ang inyong x and y na gamiton is katong coordinate sa imong center. So, imong y is negative 3, x nimo is 2, so imong nakuha is negative 9. So, ilista na to dire ha. So, nakay negative 9. Then, divide na po na to siya sa, ay lang, mali, sorry. Okay. Kanang 16, pulihan na to na siya. So, after 16, natong negative 9 na pod, si C na pod, which is the coefficient of kani siya. So, ganina 16 na itong gi-divide. Karon is kanina pong negative 9. So, calc ka. Same lang gihapon. Ang center, imong x and y gamiton. So, nakay 16. Tama? So, nakay duha ka value. Negative 9. And nakay 16. Tapos, take note, di ba anak ko class, that the negative value, that would be your a squared. And your positive value, that would be your b squared. So, in this case, ang imuhang negative value is negative 9, so kani si a squared. Tapos kani siya, the positive value, mo na siya sa b squared. So meaning to say, imuhang a, taking the square root of 9 is 3. And imong b, taking the square root of 16, that's 4. So that is your answer for letter B. Okay? So a is 3, b is 4. Next is, next is your eccentricity. Sige, so ang eccentricity na to, still the same lang yapon na formula. That's i-add ka. Wala pa man tay D, nanatay A, wala tay C. Pero di ba si C makuha lang man na to? Kaya di ba naman to yung relationship si A, B, ug C? So di ba ang formula na tong gamiton class is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, tama? So to get C, just take the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. So C na to is equal to 5. Okay, so using i-add ka, so C na to is 5 divided by A. What is A gani? A is 3. So 5 over 3, that's 1.67. Okay, that's for letter C. So for letter D, so before ta mag-proceed sa letter D, nakoy nalimtan og mention ganina. Careful lang ta, 'di ba, sa paggamit nato calculator technique. 'Di ba by calculator technique nakuha na to atong center nga 2, negative 3. Nakuha na to si Nakuha na to si A, which is 3. Kuha na to si B, which is 4. Okay? So, isa po dahil nakalimtan na kog mention, sa pag-calculator technique na to, di ba inaan itong way? So, iwansan ako na ha. The reason nga na iwansan ako na siya, gusto na ko ipakita na kaning numerator nimo, ang value ana niya is negative 144. Okay? Tapos kanang negative 144, di ba gina-divide ba nato na siya by 16, then i-divide na po nato siya by negative 9. Tama? So, pag divide ni mong 16, which is coefficient ni y, okay, divide na to siya 16, okay? That's negative 9. Then, ang negative 144, i-divide na to siya sa coefficient of x. So, divide na to siya usab sa coefficient of x, negative 9. That's 16. Okay? So, di ba anak ko, the negative value, that's your a squared. The positive value, that's your b squared. So, taking the square root of 9, nasa 3. Taking the square root of 16, that is 4. That is 4. Tama? So, di ba sa tong standard equation class, pwede man siya naakay x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1, or pwede po siya y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared is equal to 1. Tama? Di ba inana man na siya? So, ang question karon is, from the calculator technique, unsa na to pagkabalo na kaning a o kaning b is under x or under y. Okay? So, para may bala na siya, actually, kani siya ang atong ginatanaw. So, nakuha na to si, di ba, kani si a squared. Ay, si a squared na siya, di ba? So, nakuha na to si a squared by dividing it by the coefficient of y. Okay? Kani si b squared, nakuha na to siya by dividing it by the coefficient of x. Therefore, ang ato ang standard equation, based sa ato ang calculator technique lang ha, is actually, again ha, a squared is a positive value, di ba? So, nakuha na to si a squared by dividing it by y. So, na kay y plus 3 squared over 3 minus x minus 2 squared over 4 is equal to 1. Again ha, di ba mo ni si a, tama? Eh, nakuha na to si a by dividing it with, kani siya, kaya divide sa y. So, si y og si a ang pares. Again ha, si y og si a ang pares. In this case, si x og si b ang pares. So, kani si x og si b ang pares na to. Nakuha lang class? Okay. So, sige, solve na to ang letter D. Okay? So, to get the equation of the transverse and conjugate axis, so, kailangan na to siya i-graph. Okay? So, to graph it, na kay 2, negative 3, tama? Then, na kay A is equal to 3, B is equal to 4. Okay? Again ha, si A nimo is actually under Y. Ang si B nimo is under X. So, sige, i-graph na to siya class. So, nakay. Center nimo is 2, -3. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Mao ni siya, imuhang center. And then, ang imuhang A is under Y. A is under Y. So, what pasabot? 1 lang. So, 1, 2, 3, kana. Then, 1, 2, 3, kana. B nimo is under X. Okay, B is under X. So, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, kana. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, kana. So, di ba mag-draw ta og imaginary box. So, let's say, mo na yung imaginary box. Kaya actually, kanimo gud tong para pa sa imong asymptotes. Again ha, ang asymptotes na tayo separate video ano niya class para mas ma-explain gid nato. So, draw na nato to ang parabola. Paana na siya. Okay? Then, ang imuhang axis diri okay? Imuhang axis is kaning center, di ba? So, kana o kana. Okay? So, okay na tato. So, asa gani ato ang principal axis or ano to? Transverse axis. Di ba? Ato ng transverse axis is kani. That is your transverse or principal axis. Tapos, kani is your minor. Ay, di, minor. This is your conjugate axis, dai. Conjugate axis. Okay, so, kung tanawon ninyo, class, ang inyong transverse axis is, unsa? Transverse axis nimo is 1, 2. X is equal to 2. And then, your conjugate axis is, unsa? Conjugate axis nimo is 1, 2, 3. Y is equal to -3. Okay, so, this is your answer for letter D. And actually, dili gyud to kailangan actually i-graph. Kay diri pa lang daan. Kung inyo ha siyang kanimong good pag i-graph niyo sa board exam, dugay na kayo mo, labi na if ninduton gud niyo yung drawing, madugay mo. Pero pwede gud mo mag-draw og really quick lang para kung gusto gud mo sure mo. Pero diri pa lang daan, makita na to ang atong transverse and conjugate axis, tama? Okay, diri pa lang daan. Sige. So, what else? So, letter E na to, class, is to get the vertices. So, letter E is the vertices. So, mo nitong nag-draw ta. So, pag-draw na to, class, asa tong vertex diri Kani atong vertex, kana atong vertex. So, unsay coordinates ana nila, class? That's 1, 2. So, 2, 0. Okay, and asa man 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that's 2, -6. Okay, vertex. Okay, letter F is what? Get the coordinates of the focus. Ang duha ka focus. So, atong focus kay somewhere, wait lang. Sige, ang ato ang focus, class, is actually, di ba magdepende siya kung unsa si C? Di ba atong C, okay, di ba si letter C, kung ganina sa atong gidiscuss, si C is the distance from center to focus. From center to focus. Tas unsa gito tong letter C? Letter C ganina. Di ba tong letter C na nakuha is 5? Di ba C is equal to square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. So that is 5. So from center to focus. So, okay. Mo ni mong center, tama? So saka ka 5 units upward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kani. That's your focus. So unsay iyahang coordinates kani? That's 2, 2. Tama? That's 2, 2. Then, napaisa ka focus. So, from center, then move kag 5 units downward. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kani dire. Again ha, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kani siya. So, unsa ni siya? Focus. That's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, that's, unsa ba ni siya? 2, -8. Okay, so katulang, class. Okay, so that's it for parabola. So, next topic na punta, class. Sa next video na to, we will discuss katong in-depth explanation sa itong asymptotes. Then, next topic for that is katong polar equation na pod. Okay, so see you sa next video.